Hello again and welcome to MKSabers. This is going to be a really special reveal video for Joey. Joey, you're Joseph. Joey, I don't know how you go by, but your vintage build is complete. I kind of want to go through the setup here. I have it set up here with a demo blade on it. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the demo blade out. So to kind of give you some overview of your vintage, your blade retention is going to be your original glass eye. So I'm going to pull it all the way just to show you what's done here. Is that there is a 3D printed black retention ring on the glass eye, and that holds the blade in place. So you loosen that, pull the blade out, and what you've requested is a vintage blade plug. So because you got one of the last Solos hold blade holders, I used all your vintage bits inside the blade plug. It's got a frosted exterior because it fits within the Solos hold, and it fits in really nice, slides in, goes all the way in. Again, tighten the glass eye, and I went too far in. I made this a really deep socket. Get this in there, all right. And so you have the vintage pin in your blade plug. So it's been transferred to the blade plug. So really great. So let me kind of go over the features. You know them better than I do because this was a customer supplied hilt. Joey supplied this hilt. It is a vintage hilt with a Romans TFA bottom, the Maz box TFA bottom, short grips as they're called. So some things to point out. I was able to get the original pin. So this is the original rivet, aluminum rivet. So I was able to pull it out and get the original rivet back in on the original. And I don't want to bend any tabs, so it does click around a little bit. That's normal. But when the blade's in there, it holds it in place. You could have the blade plug stick out a little bit to keep it from knocking around, but that's some of the nice things about a vintage. It's the vintage glass eye. I've transferred your pins to the pins and the strap there, brass strip. That's all been transferred from your vintage. The Solos hole has got the nice lip on there, so it looks nice and accurate. Glass eyes vintage. I left the knurling on it. I didn't want to mess with that. If you want to buy another glass eye and get that filed down for TFA. So you asked for an NB Nano Biscotti. So the power on here doesn't do anything. All your activation is through a contact switch underneath your vintage red activation switch. You can unscrew this if you want. It doesn't hurt anything. It does reveal the contact switch in there, but there's really no reason to unscrew that. Be careful for screwing and unscrewing so you don't cross-thread it. But there's really no reason to take that out, but if you wanted to see it. The chassis is removable, but you would have to remove the two bottom pins and remove the glass eye, and the whole lower chassis would slide out. But there's really no need to do that. To open the saber, simply open up the clamp. I've got everything lined up here. With the Romans, the track lines up with the D-ring beautifully. I've dulled down the cap as requested because it's a really shiny brass. You do a half turn, slide it out, and then you've got your beautiful chassis. Get it refocused here. There we go. It is a Goth Master Chassis Vintage in the metals that you requested with a premium speaker and a Nano Biscotti 4. All right. Beautiful chassis. There is a power switch. If you pull this out, you can actually charge the battery. So this is your power. You can spin it for on. I recommend pulling it out and then spinning it to put it off. It's a really tight power switch that I have in there, charging jack. So the best thing to do Yeah, probably the best thing to do is you can spin it to turn it on. We can do it here.
That lightsaber was Luke's and his father's before him, and now it calls to you.
Now, if you want to turn it off, what I recommend is pulling the charge key out, rotating it 190, and then pushing it back in. And then that holds it off. Your saber is also coming with a charger. You can see it over here. It's a smart charger. You just plug it in, take the kill key out, plug it into the wall. Green LED means it's fully charged. Red LED means it's charging. Those are the LEDs on the charger. You're going to come with a stand here, saber stand and a blade. It's a full package here. Let's see. Nano Biscotti's got 3 fonts. I actually loaded up 2 premium fonts. If you want to get to the SD card on the Nano Biscotti, you loosen up your clamp, rotate your clamp off, and it reveals more of the chassis, which then there is a hidden SD card access. You got to get a tool in here, into the corner here to pop this off. Once you get a tool in there, actually I've got a tool with me. I'm not going to get it on camera because I don't want to scratch your saber. So I just stuck a small screwdriver in the corner here, and this opens up a reveal door, which then has access to your SD card. So if you wanted to load up new fonts or anything like that, change settings, take the clamp off, you have access to your SD card. Obviously when the saber's powered off, you can do that. You can put the SD card back in, this clips snaps shut, and then you're good to go. So let's go through the functions of the Nano Biscotti. I'm going to turn on the saber.
That lightsaber was Luke's and his father's before him, and now it calls to you.
So we have the ignition. And I have it tweaked pretty well. And actually, let me put in the blade. So you loosen it, squeeze the bunny ears, give it a little shake, and the blade plug should come out. There you go. I'm going to put in the demo blade here just to show it. Now there is some shine through, so we've got the shining light. You're also going to get some shine through on the side here. That's an artifact of the Solo's hold to duplicate that black line in there. Every vintage, some of them have a good line, some of them don't. So that's just artifacts of the Solo's hold. I don't recommend doing anything with it. You could put in some black electrical tape there to fill in that gap, but then it gets things all sticky. It's just how the Solo's hold 2-piece works. With vintages, some line up really nice, some don't. This one is kind of, you either love it or you hate it. And so, but a bright blade, it's the blue, blue, white. White flash on clash. I'm gonna make sure I don't want to hit the chassis too hard. There we go. But I loaded 3 fonts onto it. I guess I didn't show you. A single tap powers it on. A tap and hold powers it off. To change fonts after it's powered off, you can hold it. That first beep actually puts it in mute, and it won't do anything. So until you power it down, then it turns the mute off. You have to wait for 2 beeps to change fonts. And so the gray meat font. And then I loaded the Bespin font. So really nice. It's a beautiful saber. I thank you, Joey, for letting me work on your vintage. See a little bit of the crystal chassis there. Blue Kyber crystal, blue quartz crystal. It's not 3D printed. Red flickering accent. And the saber actually gets louder as you put it together. So I'm going to put the pieces back together here. Line up the D-rings. And once you put everything together, I'm trying to line everything up here. Not perfectly lined up, but that's okay. I'm kind of perfectionist. It's even louder. I've got venting underneath the D-ring, and all the holes, the rivets in your short grips, Romans that you provided, are all vented as well. So it's nice and loud. And the clicking you hear is the D-ring going back and forth. So if I hold down the D-ring, nice and quiet. But that's some of the kitschy stuff that comes with the saber. So beautiful saber, Joey. Thank you for letting me work on it. And may the force be with you with this beautiful, beautiful vintage lightsaber done to your custom specifications. If you got any questions, let me know. It's been a blast. Thank you again, and may the force be with you. MKSabers out.